If you feel like the world's trying to break you, good. It means you're in the arena. But there's a way to build a mind so unshakable, so focused, that it makes most people uncomfortable. And even if you don't mean to, intimidates them a little bit. So this isn't some fluffy mindset talk. We're talking real tactical mental conditioning. Okay? It's not about motivational band-aids either, the 4 a.m. club, or manifesting. It's about building psychological resilience that holds up when your team's freaking out because revenues just dropped, or whatever issue you're facing and you're still expected to lead. In this video, I'll break down what mental fortitude really means for elite performers, why emotional control turns into revenue, and 5 frameworks I give my private clients to make decisions, especially when the pressure's on. If you're aiming big and you're done letting chaos control your outcomes, stay with me to build a mindset that commands respect by paradoxically not needing it from others. My name is Itamar Marani. I'm an ex-Special Forces operative, undercover agent, jiu-jitsu black belt, and the author of Elite Performance, a blueprint for mindset and performance in business. I work with 7, 8, and 9-figure entrepreneurs to find clarity, get unstuck, and achieve their highest potential while winning big. If you appreciate me making this type of content completely free, then let me know by hitting the like button below, and I'll make more of it. With that said, let's jump right in. Train your mind like your business depends on it. So here's the truth. Your mind is weak because you've never actually trained it. You build systems for your business, you optimize your sales process, you track every KPI. But when it comes to mental strength, you just hope you'll be tough when you need to be. Elite performers don't hope. They train, they prepare. In special operations, we didn't just train for physical combat. We trained our minds to handle extreme discomfort on purpose. Counter to what most people expect, weapons training was maybe 10% of our training. The rest of it was focused on the mental part. Not for a specific mission, but because mental toughness is a meta skill, and one you build through deliberate practice. When I went through Krav Maga training, most people think it's about learning how to fight. It's not. It's about building mental toughness. We'd hold push-up positions on our fists for 50 out of 60 minutes at a time. Not because it improved our technique or stamina, but because when you can handle that level of discomfort without quitting, everything else starts becoming easier. Your mind learns, I can handle hard things, and discomfort isn't an emergency. So here's how this translates to revenue. When you've trained your mind to push through resistance, making that difficult client call doesn't feel like a big deal. Having the hard conversation with your underperforming employee becomes just another thing that you do. Your threshold for what counts as hard completely shifts. Pick something uncomfortable and do it regularly. Whether it's cold exposure, fasting, hard workouts when you're tired, the specific activity doesn't matter. What actually matters is training your brain to execute despite resistance instead of negotiating with it. But then make sure you're also doing what matters. The actual to-dos on your list. Expect and accept the chaos. Expectations can break you. The high achievers who break under pressure are usually the ones who thought that it was going to be easy. They weren't mentally prepared for how hard it actually is to scale and win. So when real challenges show up, they feel blindsided, victimized, like the market is against them. Elite performers think differently. They expect and accept all the chaos. They're prepared for setbacks. And the mental preparation is what keeps them making clear decisions when everyone else is frustrated or panicking. In the Israeli military, we had something called the unexpected. That was literally what it was called in Hebrew. You'd finish a brutal week of navigation drills, hit all your waypoints, walk all the miles, sometimes more than 100 in the week, and everyone would get back on the bus exhausted, thinking we're done. Then you'd notice the bus wasn't heading back to base. It was going somewhere else. And we all knew that meant one thing, an extra bonus waiting for us. Usually, it was marching up a massive mountain with open stretchers loaded with sandbags. Now, here's what that teaches you. There are always more hard things to come that you can't anticipate. So just accept that. The guys who struggled were the ones who felt victimized by surprises. The ones who performed well just accepted this is how elite units operate. It is part of the game. Same thing when you're scaling a company. If you're expecting smooth sailing, you're going to waste critical energy being upset when a major deal falls through or a key hire doesn't work out. But if you expect that building something significant means handling unexpected problems, you don't freeze. You don't waste time on emotional processing. You just solve the problem and keep moving. That emotional control is what really separates the elite performers who scale from the ones who tap out or stay stuck. Focus on identity, not just outcomes. This shift in mindset completely changed how I performed under pressure. And it's the same shift I see in my clients who break through revenue plateaus. Early in my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competition career, I just wanted to win medals. That was the goal. Win, get the trophy, prove I'm good, go home. Now, here's what happened with that mindset. Every small challenge during my tournament would get in my head. Didn't get enough time to warm up. Didn't sleep well the night before. Problem. The schedule kept changing. What am I going to do? All of these things would create stress and anxiety that actually killed my performance. Why? Because I was so fixated on the external result that anything interfering with my path to that result felt like a threat. But once I shifted my mindset from I want to win to I want to challenge myself and see what I'm capable of, everything changed. Suddenly, those challenges didn't matter as much. Bad warm-up? Great. An even bigger challenge to take on. Poor sleep? Let's see what I can do when I'm compromised. All bonuses in my head. When I focus on becoming the kind of person who could handle adversity, and instead of just wanting the medal, I actually performed better. And I usually got better external results as well. It's wild, right? Now, this applies directly to revenue. If you're only focused on hitting the number, every setback feels catastrophic and can take the wind out of you. Your emotional state becomes unstable, and unstable emotional state means poor decisions and poor performance. And also, your team can see it. But if you're focused on becoming the kind of entrepreneur who can scale through chaos, the setbacks, they become data points in your development. You're not trying to avoid the hard things. You're using hard things to build the operator you need to become. And that mental shift is what lets you stay calm when your team or competitors are panicking a little bit. And that calmness is what lets you see opportunities and take advantage of them. And that's what turns into revenue. Engineer your environment for excellence. One of the reasons people look back at their time in special forces with bright nostalgia isn't the missions. It's because they were around people who expected excellence as the minimum standard. And when everyone around you expects that, you naturally meet it. I always struggled with the long runs in the military. During a 15-kilometer run, a major who had taken a liking to me and knew my struggles decided to run with me as my pacer. He said, "Itamar, you're not leaving my hip. Keep up." He'd see me struggling, wheezing, wanting to fall back, and he'd say, "You got this. Keep going." And that external standard, it kept me moving when my internal voice wanted to stop. I honestly don't think I would have had the same time on that run without him setting that pace and holding that standard for me. And the inverse is also true. If everyone around you accepts mediocrity, that becomes slowly and sinkingly your standard as well. You start making excuses. You adopt their limiting beliefs. You lower your bar without even realizing it. So look at who you're spending time with. Are they pushing you to execute at a higher level, or are they comfortable with you staying the same? Now, this matters for revenue because your decision-making quality is directly influenced by the standards of people around you. If everyone around you thinks $1 million is impressive, you'll unconsciously cap yourself there. If everyone around you expects 10 million as just the minimum baseline, your brain starts solving for that instead. And the same is true for 9 figures and so on. The fastest way to build a stronger mind is to put yourself around people whose standards are higher than yours. Not in a toxic comparison way, but in a this is a new normal way. Basically, the best way to become a black belt is to put yourself in a room full of black belts. And when high performance is the baseline of your environment, your brain stops treating it like a mountain to climb. It just becomes another Tuesday. Choose harder problems on purpose. So here's what separates people with unshakable minds from everyone else. They actively seek out challenges instead of avoiding them. A lot of high achievers' entire strategy is to make things easier. automate more, outsource more, remove friction. And there's absolutely a place for that. But if you optimize for ease, you'll end up avoiding the hard but impactful things. And you'll never build the mental capacity to handle the hard moments that actually determine whether you scale or stall. Elite performers don't do this. They choose the harder path when it's what's required, not because they're masochists, but because they know that that's where the growth happens and it's what's necessary sometimes. Now, on top of that, and the real bonus, is it's also where it's the least crowded. People want to avoid the hard. When I started training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I deliberately go against opponents who were better than me. Did I get submitted a lot more? Yes. Did I look worse? Absolutely. But I got better faster than the guys who only rolled with people they could beat. Same thing when you're scaling. Those who build the strongest minds are the ones taking on challenges that scare them. Making that big hire before they feel ready, that's what they do. Having the difficult conversation they've been avoiding, they get after it. Or just going for what they know they want and not succumbing to fear. They're not waiting to feel confident. They're using the challenge to build confidence. So here's how to apply this. Look at your current biggest goal and ask yourself, what's the most direct path to achieving this that I've been avoiding because it's intimidating or scary? Then do that. Not just because it's the smart play to grow your business, but because it builds you, and who you are and what you're capable of is the ultimate asset. Look, most entrepreneurs spend their entire career avoiding discomfort. They want to scale, but they want it to be easy. They want to be mentally tough, but they don't want to do the things that actually build mental toughness. It's not how it works. The people who have minds that command respect didn't get them by accident. They build them systematically using these exact frameworks, training their minds deliberately, expecting chaos and accepting it, focusing on who they're becoming, engineering their environment, and choosing harder problems on purpose. And here's what happens when you do this. The challenges that break the majority become your warm-up. The pressure that makes other people freeze and panic becomes when you're at your best. And the chaos that most people run away from becomes your competitive advantage. Now, your mind is either getting stronger or weaker. There's no neutral. So the question is, are you building the kind of mental strength that lets you execute when it matters? Or are you hoping you'll be tough when you need to be? Your mind can be your number one asset or your number one liability. So treat it accordingly. And if you want more tactical frameworks on elite performance, hit subscribe. I break down the systems behind 7, 8, and 9-figure success every week. I'll see you in the next one.